that's where you got to have something like that, because hey, these things just come up on price.
Well, I questioned if maybe that wasn't going to be that way, because there's some sand in those hills, and when you have that,
It's going to bleed.
You're going to have some water probably.
Yeah, but this drain tile will intercept that all eventually, and it goes all the way around there. But to get it going, that's kind of what has to be done. The other thing that I have is each month we'll have a pay estimate, and I don't know that I'll be here each time for these, because we can pretty well explain to you, what's going on. But for the first one, I think it was necessary. The pay estimate this time is $84,647.79. And that sounds like a lot for work, but it isn't for work. It's mostly all for that pipe that's stored west of the old lagoons. The old lagoons. Mm-hmm. He's got about that's it right there. He's got all of the PVC pipe. This is basically King as a subcontractor. Yeah. And we allow this if we get invoices. So I have invoices for all of this stuff in my files. I don't file it with these pay-as-crests because it just makes too thick of things. But if anybody ever wants to see those, we have them in our files up there. There was a little bit of electrical because the power company has been in for the contractor to get the temporary electrical set up and get some power lines moved and stuff like that. Otherwise, all of it is for that stored materials, that pipe out there. And we've been down and we didn't inventory every single piece, but Earl took pictures of everything, looked at labels and all that kind of stuff. So we're comfortable that it's there, and it's insured by the contractor. So we'd recommend payment of this $84,647.79.
Council taking action here as we speak.
Oh, it's part of the bills then. Yeah. Okay. And I have sent this on to Joe.
Okay, good.
And the only other thing is, I haven't sent the engineering bills this month. I don't think I did anyway. I could do that tomorrow if has he prepared a draw yet for you?
No.
Okay. I'll contact him tomorrow to see if he can.
I signed one check for...
Yeah, there was one bill from you this month.
Yeah, that was for us. And the copy of that, though, needs to go to Joe so you can get reimbursed.
Reimbursed, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So, other than that, we tried to get a hold of King today so I could report to you when he's going to start.
He's working in Carroll.
He is, okay. We didn't get a hold of him, so I couldn't get a update.
Sewer lines and stuff in Carroll. The boys work. Couldn't say
He's got plenty of time, but we'll keep pressing a little bit on that to make sure it starts.
This pipe here will be pretty deep coming out of the
lift station?
Yeah.
Well, there is no pipe until you get over to the fence between your property and the next part where it goes north. We're leaving. We're using the existing pipe. From there it goes across the road, and it ends up being about 5.5 to 6 foot deep. All we have to do is below the frost line. So
that's not bad.
No, it's not very deep.
Neil, do you have the paperwork for this change order?
He didn't. I asked him to send it to you. You didn't get it
for the change order.
Yeah, for the change order. You did get it?
No, not for the change order.
No, I don't have it back yet, so I'm gonna have to find out. So you won't, and you won't pay this, by the way. What we will do is we will add that change order to the pay request. Mm-hmm. So next month it'll be on the pay request.
Yeah, I just need to know how to word it, resolution, the amount, and all that.
You don't even have a copy?
No.
Okay, there you go.
I don't think I do.
Yep. That's got my signature on, but doesn't have his yet.
I
Because I haven't got
don't
the back
have
yet,
his.
so
Okay.
that's it right there.
That's good.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
I've had some clerks get a change order approved and they immediately write a check to the contractor for that amount. And no, don't do that. You only pay from these pay requests
Right.
that we send in.
Okay. Now, can we wait till we get the reimbursement, or are we to pay it right away? That's a lot of money.
Yes, you will get, now, you haven't gone through the SRF thing. If you get your reimbursement in by Monday noon, you'll have your money by Friday. Now, today's already passed, so you won't get it this week.
Okay.
So you need to get it in this week, and you'll have your money by next Friday. I think that's I think that's okay.
Okay.
I think if you wait until then, that's okay. Now, you won't get your CDBG money back, though. That takes 3 to 4 weeks sometimes to get that money back.
Sure, sure.
Is Joe helping you with the SRF draws?
Both.
He's helping you with both.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
I'm
talk to
planning
him.
on it.
Yeah, I'll talk to him in the morning and see if, he may even already have that going.
Okay.
Except you have to sign it, so if he hasn't gotten it to you.
Yeah, see, and we don't have the originals from that contractor, we just have the copy right now, that's all we have.
Okay.
Are you talking about?
I
city
see your
attorney?
notes that
No,
they,
no, Joe Barron's. Yeah.
I will need the signed copy before I can send it in, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't?
Um,
Okay.
Let me make sure Joe gets with you on that, because
See, this isn't even signed by you, I mean, this is just a copy.
that's just I sent down to you, because I sent that to
And
you
sent a
at the
copy
same
to the
time I
contract,
wanted.
yeah.
Same to Bob, so
And I don't
I have
have
to
that
call him.
back.
I told him I wanted it back today, and
Yeah, I see that in your letter, but it,
So Neil, with that tile in there, and that goes to the creek?
Mhm.
Okay, so is there an area down in there that could be planted or seeded or something then, or what do we do?
The part on the east end of that, beyond where the stockpile is, can be planted, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
We didn't
Right
know.
east of the, yeah.
What? You mean,
Next to the creek, yeah, on this east end. Yeah, that bare spot down there that doesn't have any dirt piled on it. I talked to the contractor a week or so ago and asked him to kind of stake out the maximum amount of land that he would need. And then, yes, the rest of it.
do you have any idea how many acres is in that?
I don't, but I'm sure that we can do something to figure it out.
But it is planted already.
Oh, it is, okay.
Beans are coming out?
Yep.
Who planted it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Who
yeah,
planted
he could
it?
help us with
Johnson.
that, yeah, he could help us.
How did they pull that off?
I don't know.
Neil, the next item on the agenda is to raise the sewer rates.
Okay.
Once you're here.
Yeah, I'll go through that, yeah.
Okay. By the way, council, I invited the city attorney to attend tonight. His son, John, is leaving for Afghanistan, from Fort something in Colorado, and that's where they're at. So he said he would be here at the July meeting. Is that Carson, in Colorado? Yeah.
Yeah, used to be anyway.
Okay, shall we move on to this sewer?
Yeah, if they're done, if they're done with that. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what we have here. I have extra copies. Everybody have one of those? Okay,
One and all.
let me explain this, and up on top, the line is your SRF loan amount, the amount of GO bonds that you're gonna sell and the total revenue bonds is the difference there. Your total SRF loan minus the GO bonds is your revenue bonds. Now, the revenue bonds is what you have to collect enough money from your rates to cover. When you take that $1,598,000 and amortize it out 30 years at 3%, that is about $84,000 per year. You have to have a coverage of 10% of that. In other words, over a 10-year period, you have to develop a fund that will have 1 year's payments. So you have to have a tenth of $84,000 each year. You don't pay that to anybody. You put it in your funds, and it sits there, but you're obligated by your bond covenants to have that fund growing up to the $84,000. When the $84,000 is reached at the end of 10 years, you can quit collecting that amount of money and possibly reduce rates or whatever you have to do. So the revenue plus the 10% coverage is $92,400. The net revenues that you have available from current rates is $28,000. Now, how that's figured is on the next lines down there, there's $108,000 from existing rates that you're collecting right now, right today. Your proposed expenses on your new project are going to be $80,000 a year. So you have a net income of $28,000 right now. You're making money, in other words. And I think that shows in your balance, your budget balances that you have. So you have $28,000 already that you're generating over and above the expenses that you're going to need. So you can take that 28 off of the 92.4, and that means you need additional revenue of $64,400. Okay?
And 10% of that.
No.
No.
No, that's part of the 10%. That's already figured in there. It's already figured in there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the next set of lines is revenue from your current rate. Currently, you're getting from your minimum bills, which is $10 per customer, $60,000. That's what you're generating right now. And then from the over 1,000 at $2.50, you're generating another $48,000, and that comes up to the $108,000 that we had up there above that you're generating. Okay, now let's go down to the next set of lines. Your current water cost, your minimum is, and I'm going across now, the column that's headed minimum is $10, and if somebody is buying 3,000 gallons, they're paying $17.50, which is $2.50 times the next 3. So they're paying $17.50. 5,000, they're paying $22.50. 10, $35, and 20, $60. Okay, then I have 3 alternates down here of rates that will generate the additional $64,000 that you need. Remember, you need $64,000 more? Mm-hmm. Each one of these 3 rates down here will generate that $64,000 plus or minus dollars. You could raise your rate, you could raise your minimum to $12, then you need to charge $5.25 per thousand. You could raise your minimum to $14, and you'd then have to, you could lower your commodity rate to $4.60, or you could go to $15, and it lowers that even more to $4.30. Now, there's all kinds of things in between this. You know, if you don't like any of these, you know, there's all kinds. You just have to figure out the balance of the minimum and the utility rate. Okay, now you go in the columns and you can tell what the minimum user is going to pay, what the 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000 gallon users are going to pay per month. And you can compare that to that first line up there, which is your current.
Just to refresh your memory, Council, we had discussed this once before, and we were looking at number 2, but that doesn't mean that we have to do it. But we were looking at number 2 as a possibility.
Now, Joan and I have talked a little bit about how and when you do this. You know that you've been through this, I'm sure. Raising rates, it's an ordinance. And for an ordinance, you need 3 readings of an ordinance. Mm-hmm. Now, with rates, you can a lot of times have the first reading. Sometimes you can just have the second and third reading right there. But the purpose of the readings is to let the public know, you know, what's going on. Oh, yeah. You have a first reading this month. The public reads it in the paper. They know about it. They have a chance to come in here and talk about it. A lot of times, councils will just go through the second and third reading at the same time, you know, a month later. You have that option, or you could have the first reading tonight, or you could wait until July, have the first reading. Joan and I kind of talked that you might think about having this in place by sometime in September. Is that what we
originally thought? September.
Yeah, because then you'll have a chance to start gaining revenue from this rate before you have to start repaying these bonds. So you're going to know then, you know, a little bit more. I mean, this is kind of theoretical. You got to understand that. But until they start, you know, actually paying their bills, why you don't really know. So having it done in September, I think would be the thing. And by having it, if you decide tonight on your first reading, you could have your second in July, your third in August, and then put it in effect in September is what we kind of talked about. Sounds good. But that's up to you all.
Well, I don't have a problem with number 2. That'd be my opinion.
Where do most of our customers fall in?
We have a lot of minimum people, and then the rest are just spread out. I don't know if we do have an average.
There are a lot of minimums.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of.
They sure aren't
single
gonna get hurt
houses.
very bad, are they? And number two,
Yeah,
if there's a lot of minimal.
that'd be 460, and then if they
They only use
$2,000.
1,000
$4
gallons.
Yeah, there are people.
We must waste a lot.
We're around a lot of water outside.
Smell good.
Huh?
You smell good, that's.
Yeah, right.
We're supposed to shower together to save water.
They do.
Yeah, but you'd forget what you were doing and run forever.
Feel free to ask Neil if you have any questions on these. Number one, number two, number three. Feel
I
free
think
to-
it's pretty well self-explanatory. It just,
You just have to do it, don't you?
yeah.
Read down the column.
And I think Butch made a comment in past meetings that nobody likes to do this. It's probably something that should have been done years ago. And now we get saddled with it, but I think the number two column is probably fair.
This $5.25 and the $4.60, $4.30.
Per gallon, or per
That's per
thousand.
every-
Per thousand after the first thousand.
Right,
So, so the first thousand is included in that minimum.
Right.
Then after that, it's
Right.
it's that number times 1,000.
Okay.
So
Actually, it isn't times 1,000, it's times
10 and a half. more.
Times one or times two or times
Correct.
three, because it's
However
in
many
thousands.
thousand you're
Right,
over.
exactly.
2 is kind of about the middle of the road.
I can put that in form of motion if you need it, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we probably better go real weak. I mean, it's a lot of money we're gonna have to come up with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if we decided, we discussed number 2 months back, I would say that's probably the way to go.
I think we'd already discussed that September billing date too, so that's the motion.
I'll second. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Butch.
Who got it?
Mike.
Either
No.
one.
Go ahead. Motion is made. Seconded by,
Hopefully. We get the vote.
you've all heard the motion?
And we will consider this the first reading then.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, yes,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
It
That's
is.
what I would feel.
Okay.
Are there any questions before I call for the vote?
Could you tell me what the motion is that you're making right now?
Would you read the motion?
Just
Just give him a copy.
give him a copy of that and
Here.
tell him it's on
Option number 2.
number 2.
It's for rates, sewer rates.
The motion is to approve rate number 2. If you look down there on the bottom half of the sheet.
Thank you.
Will that do it for you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Number 2 will be the rate.
You want one of these, Bill? I see you.
Yeah.
Everybody else have one? Because I have extra ones.
Think I've got it at home yet, too.
That's all I have, I guess, unless you want to have something else there.
No, I don't think so. Counselor, you have anything else you'd like to direct to Neil?
Yes, would like to know how many acres are involved.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. Then, can you wait till the next time we're having a surveyor down here? And we can kind of run a little ring around there and...
Yep.
Good question.
Okay.
You can let Joe know, she can email it.
Yeah.
I would like to know who planted it.
Johnson did, I'm sure.
Johnson's planted beans in there?
Yeah, 10 acres.
Has not.
That's 10 acres?
It is 10?
That's what I understand.
That's the most 10 acres I ever saw.
Well, I have no clue, because I just told the contractor to basically put some lath where he knew he wouldn't have to get over, and because we don't want to confine him,
Who, or how did they come to plant this? How,
Well, I think the city attorney and the Johnsons are in a I'm not sure it's going to litigation, but it was decided that 10 acres, as I understand from the contractor, was not going to be used. That's what I understand. And I believe that's where that happened.
Well, I get that, too.
But I don't
it's our
I don't
property.
understand, that's our property. How can the city attorney give him permission to farm that?
Well, that's what happened.
And was there a rent discussed, a rent per acre
Well,
discussed?
I will jump in there on that. Joan, you'll have to help me with it a little bit, but I was asked about if we could cash rent it or whatever, so we called the bonding attorney, and he said that we cannot rent it until the grant is, till we get the grant money and the majority of it's paid for, then we can take cash rent. So it would have needed to be planted this year if we don't want to round up it or do something else with it. We just can't take any proceeds off it. Am I telling it correct?
That's correct.
And we just found that part out today for sure.
And it was felt it's better to be planted than just grow weeds.
Well, I understand that. I guess I agree with that, but I think the council ought to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely.
If we bought the property.
I don't understand why we were left in the
Well,
dark about that.
Like I say, a city attorney was supposed to be here tonight, but unfortunately he couldn't be, and I'm sure you all understand why he couldn't.
Yeah, I can
He'll have
understand, forgive him for that, but he's never at a meeting.
He'll have an explanation for that.
And he also has a telephone.
Yes, he does, but I'd like to know how many meetings he's been to during the year sometime.
But you say it is planted.
It's coming out.
Okay. What do they do? I was just down there. Do they do
No-till.
no-till? That's
Yeah.
that's where it's turned. Okay.
Well,
All right. Thanks, Neil. Yep, you bet.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Let's see.
I think Joe was putting blankets on
They're
the
reaping a harvest on our ground.
Huh? Yeah, I don't.
Well,
I
you
just-
wouldn't, like I said, you would have to do something, either keep it mowed or something, so
Yeah.
probably good to have something in there, but you know, I see what you're saying.
I have no issue with that at all.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
if we can't get any proceeds off of it this year, that's perfectly all right. But it still should be council decision.
I think there'll be a explanation for the whole thing at the July meeting.
There better
A
be.
complete explanation by the city attorney. I did not, I wasn't even aware it was planted. But I had talked to the city attorney, and he and the Johnsons, it has to do with the contract and the roads and the acres and the survey. Now, it isn't costing anybody anything to have that planted. And it's better to have it planted, I think. But I agree, the council should have been made aware of that, and they would have been tonight if he could have been here. And that's all I can say. I was unaware that it was even planted. So,
Well, I kinda have a question on that land thing. What's Carol doing being the,
say again.
Zane's wife, what is she doing being the attorney or handling this sale?
As I understand it,
Family thing,
see there again, if Joe were here, he would explain that to you, but as I understand it, she drew that contract.
It's kind of a conflict.
And-
of interest.
That's not right.
And, well, as I say, at this point, it's not my, I'm not an attorney and it's not my, but there is some roadway that's in question. And you'll,
And we bought this how long ago?
Yeah, why are we just finding this out now? You know, we bought this, like Butch said, how long ago did we buy this thing? And we're just finding out that
Because the
there's
survey
red tape
didn't get
involved?
done right away.
yeah, the
Survey
survey
didn't-
wasn't done until just recently. I mean,
I think the road in question you brought up last month, didn't you?
Yeah, you did mention the
They were
west
paid
gravel
for-
road.
They were paid for.
well, and then the Highway 175, you see, in the survey, that was to be part of that 77 acres. I really,
I specifically asked at the last meeting if this had anything to do with the Highway 175 right-of-way, and you said no. It was strictly the west gravel road.
that came from the city attorney.
Okay, then, I don't know if I want to wait till the July meeting to find out what the hell's going on.
And you also
He'd
said,
like
you
that to do
know,
it this week.
we may, but you also said we may have to have a special meeting. And we weren't prepared to have that special meeting yet. As I understand it, Joe just met with the Johnsons the other day. That's my understanding. I have not.
How can that be when the beans are coming up already?
Well, I can't answer that.
That's fishy.
I can't answer that. I was unaware that it was planted. But there'll be some answers soon. The next meeting soon enough.
That's set up soon,
You know, I'm like Butch, I really don't think we need to be waiting a month to
Get
get
that set up,
this.
see if you can find out something, get that set up as soon as possible.
Give me a tentative date, no.
About the second hour he returns home.
Yeah,
When's he gonna be back?
He didn't say.
Check with his office tomorrow, see when he's gonna be out back,
Okay.
set up for like Monday. We can do it during the day,
Yeah,
I suppose.
I'm all for that. Get her on
You
the
want it
table
during the
and-
day? Is everybody
I don't
able to
care, you
come during
care.
the day?
Monday?
What time are you thinking?
Yeah.
I'm all for getting it on the table and getting it resolved.
It needs to be.
Noon?
June 13th?
13th.
Do you want to try, did you say try for noon, or?
I'll just wait and see what everybody else says.
I could make Monday work.
I certainly will try, I'm gonna, gotta go back to work, but I'll be here.
I'll probably have to go back to work.
I can make it anytime.
I mean,
How about you? You take a personal day?
I can force myself.
turn the water off in the shower, half hour early.
Okay.
Pee on the camper.
Okay.
What is this resolution 1120?
We need, we gotta,
Now you gotta open the hearing on the budget amendment.
I will now open the hearing on the budget amendment. And it is resolution 1120. I don't, do I have?
Yeah, everybody should have a
here it is.
copy.
Here it is, okay. Well,
We didn't have, line 18, we didn't have quite enough in culture and recreation and that between the pool, the park, and the library. Line 20, general government expenses. Line 24, there wasn't, and I didn't know that this big, Neil had told me earlier that it was gonna be a small bill that came in. I wasn't anticipating that big of a bill this fast in this fiscal year. So those are the reasons we have to amend.
okay.
okay, we'll leave the hearing
Otherwise you
open
can quote, nobody's here,
and move on to, shall we just,
Get it taken care of.
go close.
What was the third one,
Oh.
Joan?
That
Bill.
was mostly the sewer project.
That bill, we just paid.
Yeah.
I'll make
The
the
new-
motion to approve the amended budget.
Let's
as
close,
presented.
let's close the
Okay.
hearing first.
I make a motion, we close the hearing.
Second, I'll make the motion. Oh, you got it.
the motion's been made to close the hearing. The motion's been made by Flint, seconded by Hemphill. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Now I'll make the motion to approve the amended budget as presented.
I'll second it.
You've all heard the motion to approve resolution 11.20, made by Hemphill, seconded by Flynn. This will be a roll call vote. Flynn?
Yes.
Hoagland?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Hemphill?
Yes.
The motion carried. I'll move on. Citizen to be heard, Bill said he talked to Agnew, she wasn't gonna come down.
Do you want me to explain a little of that?
If you like.
What she was wanting is, she's got 2 driveways, and she was concerned about one of the tiles being broke, and I explained to her it's just like somebody's driveway. If a tile is plugged or broke, it's the person that put the tube in their driveway to get through there's responsibility. But on the back side of the north one, that whole grass area has growed up about the top of the tile. I told her that I would get Gary Roth and we would clean that out so the water could get past the tile and, through the tile and down through there. So that's really all she really was concerned with. Ernie had put in some cement deals he got from the city, from that trickling filter or something. They're just cement slabs, and he put that in the ditch all the way up through there. Well, about halfway, there's about that much difference between the height of the middle and each tube. And I said, well, why don't you let me take the payloader and pull that rock out? That slows it down, and I like it that way. Well, as long as it's like that, that rock is going to wash into that tube. But at least I can clean the bottom end out and help her a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? That's all there was to
Okay,
that.
thank you. We'll move on. Building permits, have they been reviewed?
Yep.
All looked at them.
Anybody care to?
I'll make a motion to approve the building permits.
Second it.
The motion's been made to approve the building permits by Hemphill, seconded by Scott. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ron, I do want to explain one permit in there. One permit that's in there is for Kerry Reinhardt, and I think he says that he's going to cut the tree down. I did talk to Squint today. He said he would take and put that on the top and cut it down, so I will explain to Kerry that Squint's going to cut it down. And that way, the $1 million insurance policy is taken care of.
Okay. We have cigarette permits for Cubbies and Sparkies. I don't have them, but,
I do have copies here of the applications.
okay.
It's just the,
And they're all,
it's the routine cigarette.
okay, they're all in order. We have cigarette permits for Cubbies and Sparkies. If there are any questions, why now's the time to talk about it. If not, why entertain a motion to
I'll make
approve.
a motion to approve cigarette permits for Cubbies and Sparkies.
I'll second that motion.
You've all heard the motion to approve the Cubbies and Sparkies cigarette permits by Flink, seconded by Bankford. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have a request for an outdoor sales and transfer liquor application, license application by the community center. Probably that would be for preparation for Crook Days. If there's any question before I call for the vote, now's the time to bring them up. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to OCC Creek Days outdoor sales permit. Second.
The motion's been made by Bankford to approve the Creek Days outdoor sales and transfer liquor permits. The motion was seconded by Hemphill. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a tax abatement request
It's in the plastic.
from Carrie and Deb Reinhardt. And this is a residential new construction of a wood metal storage building. Any questions?
$30,000.
And
It's
do
that
you want
standard tree.
That meets our requirements.
say how the tax abatement works, just to review that? you know?
I think we're all right. It's a 3-year
Yeah.
abatement, isn't it? All
Right.
right. I make a motion to approve
Okay.
that.
Second.
The motion's been made by Flint to approve the tax abatement application by Reinhardt, seconded by Hoefling. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. What's in the complaint file?
I think everything getting addressed, isn't it? The one that was on top, I know I already got a copy of that.
Okay, yeah,
Been
that-
dealt with,
Okay,
or will be dealt with.
it was loose dogs, right?
Yep. And then we go into that, and then And there was another one about a dog, but that was January. All right,
Be taken care of?
it will be,
All right.
first opportunity.
Nuisance Abatement Committee report. The subject is now open for discussion.
On the one on Gritton's, I received a court notice on that too, and I've talked to Ben about it. Ben's graciously said he'd prosecute those. He may take a ride with me sometime before the hearing to look at it. And then do what we gotta do.
Did we send those two people letters to have a meeting with them and there's no response?
No response from Ricky's. Actually, they just picked up that certified letter about Friday, I think.
Who's that?
Ricky's.
Yeah.
Where you had asked
Already been
them.
before.
Now they're, asking them to give
Did you
you a
read this?
date.
Okay, that's what it's all about. That's where we're at now.
I think we ought to just ixnay the nuisance today. We'll look where it gets it.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You know how many
Start
times that
over.
happens?
Start over and start over.
Hours and hours and hours of work into something, and then just decide, no.
So the Gritton thing is
Going to court 28th.
kind of a document here that says it'll be the
Going to
trial.
court 28th.
20th. So the Rigby and Gritton are being, well, I guess you've all read the Warren Bush's comments on the Rigby.
It's very easy reading, you can read it. Writes like a doctor.
Okay.
You know, we gotta go back to the old ones. There's been nothing done there, and I think what you told me that Chad's Slice now has a cat problem.
Yeah, and that house has a bunch of cats in it, from what I'm told, so we're gonna need to deal with that.
Which property is that?
And one up on
Mark
Park.
Bernhardt's.
Pay attention to that, see what's going on, but should we send him a letter anyway?
What's it gonna get you?
Yeah.
Sign up with this traffic cats.
We should build a property owner.
Do that. Better than sending a letter.
All right, so let's get the cat lady down here, traffic cat, and send him a letter, send him a bill.
They are stray cats, aren't they? Nobody will come out
Doesn't
and
matter.
say, these are my
Doesn't
pets.
matter, it's a nuisance.
Okay.
If it's not on your property, it's a stray cat.
Okay.
And if they are his cats,
I doubt it very highly.
so am I.
If they're upright and taking nourishment, probably aren't.
Paul hasn't made much progress on his building.
No, I
Virtually
see
none.
you have a header in the door and a little bit of work out the west side, but
That's something. Mayor and I looked at this, but Paul Newman called, I don't know, has he ever went any further with that tree deal? Pulling a tree out of the ground, no. Where he sold those people on
Yeah,
Willow
we
Street.
talked about that,
property.
yeah.
Okay.
Now they want to keep the tree.
There's a tree there that evidently Paul was going to move it up there to this other building. He wanted to know what he had to do, and I told him that he had to probably go through the council or go talk to three, because he said he was in a hurry, needed to get it done before it got any drier. And I guess the big deal about it was, it's a pretty good sized tree. We went and looked at it. The people happened to be standing out there, and they said that at one time they thought it was going to be too close to the driveway, but they kind of like it. So whether we want to take it off that parking and move it down there or not, I don't know whether we send him a letter and say that the people like the tree and it's on city parking. I don't think that what you want to do.
I think so. I mean,
That's what they
you
told
plan
us.
to do the
right
parking and
around-
you move, the tree stays.
Absolutely.
Okay.
some things come up totally unbelievable.
And the bins, or the corn cribs?
Corn cribs? Sure are pretty.
Yeah, they are.
The year's up probably since we sent them the letter.
Send them a reminder.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we want to date that reminder?
See if we get a response.
Or wait and
Get
see?
away from the last one?
Clovers did.
Who owns that other crib? That one,
Cloovers.
Clovers
They're
was
the
the
last
middle.
and she said she was going to deal with that. this year.
They didn't.
So I think we ought to send her a reminder too. Anything
Who
else?
does own the third one? They, Kluver owned two.
I think
Ahart owns two.
two.
Ahart owns two of them, she only owns one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Is there any other nuisance we'd like?
Yeah, there's a pile of concrete that's been on the west side of the school for 3 years at least. I was corrected on that, and I stand corrected.
Well, 15.
And I understand they're under working on this grant thing to get sidewalks replaced, but I think they could go ahead and get rid of the busted up concrete out there until they can get the sidewalks replaced. So if you'd send them a letter,
They haven't been waiting on the grant for 3 years. They just found out about it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Can't believe they let kids play on it. Liability.
Anything else? Okay, if not, we're gonna move on to acquired properties. We have quit claim deeds for 2 properties downtown. A lady that bought them on a tax sale, surrendered them. And what we need to do is if we want to accept the deeds, we need a motion to accept and record them. The one building is, I call it the Pepsi building, the other is the Rumors building. And then we have control of the 2 buildings.
Rumors
they will
deed.
be eventually demolished.
And then we can deal with the buildings.
I would second that motion.
Who made the motion? Mike?
The motion's been made to
Good job.
accept and record the deeds by Wolfling, seconded by Hemphill. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I have read the library report. Everything is in order. I would accept a motion to approve that.
I think that. I'll second it.
The motion been made by Scott to approve the library report, seconded by Hemphill. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. DOT maintenance contract revised. You'll have to help me there, somebody.
Maybe Bill can.
They just
They-
sent you a
they changed-
revised copy, and I never looked at it.
They changed something, but I don't know
It was
what.
just to comply with what the new standard is. It didn't have anything to do with our part of the bargain.
Okay.
Of the understanding, so I think we can, okay, to approve it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
You've heard the motion by Flink, seconded by Hoefling. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. City Hall roof, Bill?
I was just, it's been leaking again, and I had to call the contractors, and the son is in the hospital, so they didn't know how soon they'd get here. They never tell me when they're here, so I don't know if they were here or not. We just know when it rains and if it comes in. I don't know if there's anybody else who can do that, or
Well,
what are your
isn't he like responsible for so many years on
Yeah.
fixing it?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Just wait it out till.
well, I'm not saying wait it out, but I mean, it won't cost you if he
If
comes
they
and
do.
fixes it. But I don't know how long that guarantee.
I'd have
How
to
long
look
is it?
that
10
up.
years?
Find out how long
Look it
that,
up.
when it was done, how long the warranty was, and then we should look at if the building's stable. put
Is it
on
in
a
the same
decent
place?
roof.
Leaking in the same place in the bathroom?
Well, you can see there's spot. Yeah, the most recent ones. I mean, we got about that
That
much.
firewall, I don't think they ever laid that right or something, because that firewall has leaked since the time that they put that new rubber roof on it. They did put a rubber roof on it, didn't they?
Yeah, because we paid the extra, I think, when we had the hail and.
I know we did on the museum, but I can't remember
Yeah, we
if
did.
we did on
I
the
think we did on
Okay.
Yeah, it leaks in several.
But I agree that if you don't think they're gonna come, we just have to pay somebody to fix it, but I think that they're gotta fix it under the
Under
contract.
their contract, yeah.
But that's totally up to you guys.
Well, I guess I was just wanting everybody to know, so you
Well,
keep
just
an
check
ear
with them,
open.
see if we're
there is
still under
somebody else.
if we're
Under
under
the
the, yeah.
warranty.
And if
Have you
not,
called them?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And if we're not, then we need to look at putting a peak roof on it.
When you
Metal.
have the what?
And like I say,
Huh?
they
You have
may
to bring an umbrella to work.
Yeah. Well, we did, it dripped on us. That day it was raining so
Yeah,
hard.
be the deal there, then we just need to put on
Okay,
peak roof.
we'll check the warranty, and like I say, they may have been here, it hasn't rained since that time, so.
Okay, that's been taken care of then. We'll move into the wage resolution.
Well, the county law, we don't have it because when they sent it, they
Oh.
forgot to attach it.
Oh, yeah.
And then by the time I realized it wasn't there, they were gone.
We didn't get one.
So there isn't one. We'll probably
Alright.
get it tomorrow, but we
Any
don't
questions
have
But
it.
it's
What
coming,
happened
it's
last month?
forthcoming.
It's coming.
Oh.
Yeah, what did happen?
I did hear a couple people say that they thought they were seeing a lot more cops in town.
Well, that's because we're back to full staff.
That's what I told them.
Yeah.
Oh, as long as we're on
Are
there.
they gone?
I don't know if you guys ever,
Some.
you know that lime shed we have along the M43
Mhm.
there? We got kids pissing around in there.
Do you?
We jumped up in the dump truck and all the switches were turned on, radios cranked up. Poor Coon had his tractor out there and they were in that.
So I bet we have an idea who we might
I
be looking
think-
at. All right, duly noted.
Okay, wage resolution.
Number 10.
Joan, you wanna tell us what we need?
Everybody has a copy. It's just that time of year.
Yeah, I think
This
it's
is last
just
year's
status quo.
Is July the month to
Yeah.
finalize that?
Usually to put it into effect. We usually go into effect July 1, but if you want to think about it and not pass it till July, we'll just do some changing on
Well.
the checks afterwards.
Anybody like to discuss it? Why, let's do so.
I do have copies of the 2010 gross, if anybody wants that for any reason.
And draw a line to Stacy Pritchard's name and put Tyler Schrader on the swimming pool.
I do have a question on, I was jumped last night about one of the lifeguards at the pool was wondering, she was going through the handbook and noticed that there was a pay increase for those who had WSI versus those who did not. And she was wondering if there was also a pay increase for those who have LGI,
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
lifeguard instructor. I guess my thoughts on it are, we didn't advertise for anybody for a lifeguard instructor. You know, I mean,
They
what
get
we
paid
don't,
for it anyhow.
what we want is people that have, you know, water safety, the water safety instructor.
It's just nice to have credentials like that, but we don't have a position.
I told her that I would confront the council and,
That's just it. If we had a position, it'd be different. But
okay.
I think we need to, you know, if you're talking salary increases, that's the 1st of July, we need to get some input.
We didn't pass this till July last year.
Yeah, that's right, it doesn't have to
And
be.
just some food for thought, I think county secondary roads and everybody else follows through with that because they're to go to arbitration. This year we're getting a 2%.
Like I say, like you, let's review it, let's think about it.
Think about it.
And
All right.
Come back at the July
And
meeting
that's
with.
Joan and Bill, if you got something in mind, kind of let us, give us a clue, let us know. We're open.
All right, it'll be tabled till next time. Jones, what's our delinquent water bill this year?
Well, there could possibly be 3
We'll work on it.
tomorrow
We'll work
if they
on it.
don't come through.
Deal with it the next day or two.
How many do you have?
Possibly 3.
Ooh.
Open burning discussion. Who wants to talk about that?
I'm not burning.
What about it?
I think Bill,
Somebody must have requested it.
Well, we talked about it last month that, maybe some of the people that are burning like, some of the people that are burning, aren't using a lot of,
Common sense?
yeah. But, the next thing, a little old lady goes out and tries to burn some of the leaves, I think that it's probably okay, So I don't know, maybe we don't mess it. What's you guys' thought?
Unless you have a burning ban, you're allowed to.
You are under our ordinance, we
Burn
just talked,
leaves.
and maybe we needed to change that ordinance, I
Leaves
don't know.
and
Hate to change it for everybody because of 3 or 4.
organic yard waste, as long as it doesn't create a
Brush
nuisance.
pile, city limits.
Yeah.
You mean like smoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Can we talk to the ones that are a problem? Will it do any good?
Yeah, the thing is, no, some of them, no, but we can try it.
yeah, I hear you.
Well, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The burn barrel deal that gets thrown in there. And that's one of the problems, they take that burn barrel out there and throw it in on the windiest day in the world, close to the brush, and that's where, when it takes off. Not a good thing. We've had some of the same people burning wire off in the alley. And that we can fight a little harder because that's...
If that's what they're doing, that's against, that's against.
You've been there 2 or 3 times, that's
not yard
well,
waste.
it's brand.
Yeah.
I gave them a copy of the ordinance.
I wish
Well, then there's
there
no
was some.
excuse. I mean, the next time then
I've
it
told them,
happens, bang.
Yeah, what do you find?
because somebody called me. I can't remember, somebody.
I don't do the finding, I just do the
No, this
charging.
was,
I make the case, do the charging, it's up to magistrate. You can recommend. You can call Warren and
I
recommend.
don't think it was.
No,
Yeah, somebody called me, and so I immediately went down there and I told him, hey, you need to put that out right now, because whatever you're burning is not.
This has
whatever
happened
grows on your
quite
property.
a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
So has it happened since?
We didn't know that. Oh yeah, it's happened. It happens a lot. You can smell it.
Same,
I think we're just
We know
gonna
that's
take
what's
that
up.
through the sheriff's department when it happens, and
best thing to do.
Well,
So
actually,
I asked him
The
if they
city
like
can't
to
put out a
ways.
fine, and we can't put a fine against it.
that I don't know.
That'd
Well-
be something to look into. Make it a hell of a hefty one too.
well, all we can
Have to
do,
check with the city attorney.
all we can do is charge them under that particular code, and it's up to the magistrate.
But we
That's right.
can't set one. Just
You
like
can recommend.
About that, about the
parking.
parking of snow removal.
And there was a state deal.
Yeah,
he couldn't do it.
we're limited there. We are limited there.
Well, if we're not limited on this, then let's.
Well, I don't know if we are or we aren't.
I got a neighbor that does the same thing, and you can tell him, I've called the county on him a couple of times.
I'm down here at the house.
Can you check on it, Keith?
Yeah.
What, as far as the sheriff's department, if we can establish a
Well,
fine?
I don't know about establishing a fine. I would talk to Ben about that. Because you're gonna get further there than going through the city attorney. Because it'll get put on the back burner. But I think if you talk to Ben and say, we would like a standard fine for certain ordinances, can we do that?
excuse me, but I think we have increments for the whole ordinance book, the way I understand it. Any
For traffic-
violation.
For traffic, you just go into the city, the state
But for.
schedule. But we write everything under county for traffic.
Oh. But if you write it under the city ordinance, when you go by the cities,
But there is no, I don't think there's one for open burning. There's not a standard fine for that.
it's a violation of the city code.
Yeah, I know. So you charge them with it, and the magistrate hears it, decides if they're guilty, and fines them accordingly.
kind of like
whatever his decision is.
missions would be.
Oh, so in other words, we can't set a fine.
Well, you could, like I said, you could ask the
recommend.
county attorney if it would be possible, we would like to set some minimum fines for some of these violations, and maybe say, well, this is what you gotta do. Do I think it could be done? I think so, but
When the burn, one thing I will let you guys know, when you find these burn barrels that are thrown into the garbage down here, they've got cans, they got aerosol cans, things that could be recycled. That's one of the problems. They shouldn't be doing that. They're doing it just like you used to do out on the farm, and you know, that's not good.
no, it isn't.
But I still think we don't want to stir that up too much. On the
Not ruin
open
it for
burn.
everybody.
Right.
Right, I didn't
Three
realize there
people.
was burn barrels in town.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Really?
I named 4 of them, for sure.
I know where there's one that's real
It's not
close
my
to
yard,
us.
is it?
I'll move on to street improvements. Jim, you want to talk about that?
Well,
Street improvement, or Bill?
I can do her.
yeah, let Bill.
What we got is, we're going to do 3 blocks from Mark Reese's, where we ended up last year. We're gonna go 3 blocks. We're gonna miss it by 1 block. We're gonna do 1 block from Todd's Corner on 4th
South.
Street south, up to
That's
that
the
block, and
church.
there's
That's-
really tore up.
That's a mess.
And actually, I think 1 and 4, because we're gonna get 5 done this year for around 46,000. Is that correct, Joan? That was what you said 47, and I think the bid come in at
About
46.
46, yeah.
Okay, now, with that, we had talked about maybe replacing that 2 or 3 blocks of water line on Hanson Boulevard. I've talked to them, most of you guys, about this, and the thing about it is, we haven't had any more trouble with that line. I think everybody's kind of in agreement to go ahead and have them fix that with hot patch when they come in and do the roads, that little patch in there, and not do the water line until we have any more problem with it, because it has been holding, and that might save us. I tell you why it kind of got brought up. It's going to cost a lot of money to put the patch in there. You couldn't redo the road for another year. Maybe we just hold back, try to save a little bit there, and see if, you know, if we have it happen again, then we probably need to do a block or whatever.
In
that
other
okay?
words, a wait and see.
I think so.
Yep. Okay.
If that's okay with you guys, but that's kind of what we're planning on the streets. But I didn't want to send the contract in until you guys were all in agreement on
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
okay?
Let's go into superintendent of the television report, Bill.
I'm gonna get some of this off here so I don't double up on it. Okay, well, you know, really, that's about all I have, other than, I did have a little discussion today, with Squint, and he's gonna start these at the end of this month and be done in August. And,
Done.
gonna get them all done at once, and the only thing that I have that I want to discuss a little about the trees is, one of the things that's been happening is he puts it on a list, on a priority list, and I do that, you know, if there's a tree that's a priority, and then some that aren't priorities are on the back of the list. I think what we need to do is probably get the last 10 that we've got down as quick as we can. And then I think we probably need to do a deal somewhere along the line that these have to be done within 3 months or something.
Yes.
Or that we're gonna get somebody, because we really can't leave a tree that we have opted to take out on there for a long period of time. Are you guys
I
in
agree.
agreement with that?
I agree. Within 90
And
days.
then that's all I
I
have.
was just
60?
gonna say 90's 3 months, also
Yeah.
it's over by
60?
then.
Well, he had thrown out 3 months, so
Well, I don't care. 3 months is a whole lot better than 3 years.
yeah.
Right.
So
But-
whatever you guys want to say.
So just tell him from now on that we talked about it in the 60 days from the time that he's
Okay.
given the work order.
After he gets these out.
Yes,
Right.
Because getting all of them
including
out.
stumps.
Because I will tell you, we add something on the top of the the list
Sure.
that, something that isn't priority, but when you do that, then that one that isn't priority stays at the bottom of the list.
And obviously, we're gonna have storms and stuff, and things comes up, that stuff is gonna take priority, and we understand that, we've got a guideline there that way.
Okay,
But the stumps though, I'm gonna talk about that for a second, is a lot of the trees he takes down on weekends. And if you make him come in and do the stump at the same time, that creates a problem for
I
our
agree
city
with
guys.
that.
You got a mess, so.
it isn't a problem,
They need
it's
to
a
coordinate them.
liability.
They gotta
Because
coordinate it with, yeah, the driveways are covered, sidewalks are covered
There's a hole there where the
They just
stuff
need to
comes out,
coordinate
somebody
that
falls in it, we're liable.
on the side with
I
the
just
city
don't want
guys.
that stump to sit there,
I understand that, but if you wanna go chew all the stumps up in the next week, it can be done.
Yeah,
But what are these guys gonna do?
And that's
Following
what
up
you're
on
looking
that.
at too, is it's gonna take one guy just to pick up after
Right. Right.
Squint, and the stuff that
Yeah.
he's normally doing during the week isn't gonna get
Right.
done if he's working.
Right, and that's why if we go in and do these as fast as he can, which I don't know that 2
didn't you
months
say a
is
couple
good.
days a week?
Yeah, but 52 of them, 2 days a week, if he can only do 6 or 7, that's not gonna pan out. But
Well, he
he's
said he
in
had
the
it done by
middle
the
of
end
buying a
August.
different
So,
machine.
There you go.
Yeah,
He what?
He told you like end of August, so
Yeah.
he'll have it done, so let's.
And if he's
let's
not?
Cut him some slack and have it done. If
All
it
right.
don't happen,
Sounds good.
then plan B.
Sounds
Yeah, I agree
good.
with you. Okay, that's done deal.
We're gonna start with you, Keith, on committee.
Like,
Go ahead, Todd.
I guess I had the Whitney thing. She's the one that asked about the LDI or whatever it is. I think the pool's been going pretty good.
sounds, yeah,
Could I jump in now again?
Sure.
All right. I just wanted to bring this up. Because we're, which Coleman is it?
Donnie.
Just because Donnie Coleman is out of the city limits, he didn't have to per se get a building permit for us for the garage. I have noticed that the garage is in behind the house, and I called one of the contractors. I asked him, Greg, and I asked him if they were going to put a driveway or how he was going to get to that garage. Greg says he's going to go around the west side of the house, and I don't know how he's going to do that with the evergreen trees and everything else. I think more than anything, I just want everybody to realize that if he doesn't put a road there, and maybe he's not going to go in this storage shed much, but we do not clean that swimming pool, and if he's planning on using that swimming pool as an entrance to get into the side of that house, I just want everybody to be aware of it. I don't care one way or the other than we don't keep that open, we just let the snow go in there. And if we start moving that pea gravel off the top of that, you know.
Yeah.
Is that?
But I just want you to be
Who
aware.
does his snow now?
Huh?
Who
He
does
does
his
it
snow
himself,
now?
don't he?
I think he does.
Yeah.
You have an issue with him pushing it?
None at all. But I don't know what you feel about if he's using the swimming pool driveway. I just want you to be aware if you ever did it. He probably is going to do the other thing, but I can't hardly believe you'd put much of a road. And you got 2 evergreen trees in there, you'd have to go around unless he's planning on, I mean, I don't know what's there, but I want you to be aware of it.
He's not gonna
Personally,
damage the property.
I highly doubt that he's gonna be using that a whole lot. All that money is probably more for storage than anything.
His tractors sit out in the country and they sit out.
Well, you know,
all
we got
the
our
time.
trees in there too. He'd have to go in between them evergreen trees, and if he comes in off, and I don't know, but I thought since there wasn't a permit, you know, you at least you'd be aware of it if something ever comes of it.
Are the gates of the pool closed during the winter?
Never have had to, because we just don't keep it clean, but if
Sure.
that's, you know, it's just something.
No, I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
I don't think it will be either. I bet he might have his thing that he's gonna clean the snow.
Lawnmowers.
Well, if it becomes a problem, we'll deal with
Okay.
it. Todd, anything else?
Good to bring it up though.
Yes, I was approached by Vance. He was interested in buying some of the good black dirt off of the lagoon project if we have any left over.
There's not gonna be any left over according to Neil and according to the guy out there, but if there is, we definitely need some for these water leaks and different things to get stockpiled back.
Okay.
So I would guess there won't be very much.
Okay.
Anything else?
But we gotta buy it if we get rid of anything that we can have.
How much is he talking, Todd?
I think a lot more than we
I
need.
don't know.
Run the driveways.
If it's a little bit, well, I work with him, he sure made that look nice out there. Boy, it sure
If there's any out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Can you get a number of how much he needs?
Sure.
And we can talk to him and find out how much they're gonna have. They told me the other day that there wouldn't be any left over.
Leroy?
Yeah, and also I think Neil said something about it, but we can definitely check.
Okay, and also, the burn pile. Are we gonna move that, or is it?
Not until that pipe's on.
Okay.
That's where the pipe is. I guess we talked about it 2 or 3 times, and everybody's kind of been in the thing they didn't want until they had to. Is it an issue with him now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
Well, it was brought up that way, and if they didn't say anything, I guess we were gonna try to.
Well, I guess
You're gonna have a whole different can of worms when it gets moved out there, but whatever you guys want, move it as soon as that pipe's out of there.
Well, I guess, I mean, what I was thinking was we were in a big toot because we were only gonna be able to burn it one more time, and that was it, because we were less than a quarter of a mile from any,
Then we got a little bit
buildings
afraid
and-
of, it would not be policed very well off on that
That's
gravel
why
road. You had
we
no
talked
idea
about
where
it
it's
here and
gonna
decided to hold off.
But who was on us about moving it? The DNR?
Yep.
And now they've backed off, or?
Well, it hasn't been brought up as an issue yet, so. And that's
Because
what everybody hears, you know.
Because I was jumped about it, I thought they were moving that, and I said, well.
It sounds like one of these Plan B.
It is gonna
The
happen.
DNR comes in and says, yep, you gotta move it.
It's called lack of
Then we
funding
can.
for personnel out in the country.
But yeah, I would guess that it probably could happen anytime. I'm expecting it.
Probably.
Well, we kind of watch what burns in there too, if
Yep.
there's any yard waste or anything in there. Because that was the issue before, we had a couple of items like that, and they caught us.
Well, there's always an issue. I mean, you know,
Somebody
when,
take, clean
it's
out
gonna be
their
an
garage
exception.
and throw in something that wasn't.
Or somebody throw these ashes in there and start it on the worst days in the world. It's gonna happen out there too, and it's not gonna be good for.
Probably gonna be worse out there.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Just kind of player.
Yep.
We do need to get the pipe out of there though, because we let them park that out there where we're gonna put the burn site. Well, we didn't have nowhere else to put it, you know?
You have anything, Jim?
Bill covered it. I'm good.
We'll move on. Correspondence? Is there any correspondence?
Not really, no.
No.
Library report.
Anything current?
I do have one more thing on the pool, I guess. They did go up and fix the top row block on the bathhouse, both bathhouses, and
Is it completed now?
yep,
Oh, good.
they did a super job.
Good.
Really looks
I'm
nice.
glad they got that done.
They capped off the top of it so it doesn't get any moisture down in there now. And,
They give me good references with that guy. I think he did good.
yeah,
The correspondence, the class of 1954. We wish to thank you very much for your generation. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, you've
Not
written
have to
that.
thank
It's
you.
already done.
this, yeah, it's already done. Class of 54, they gave us $25. And a thank you's been written by the Recreation Chairman, Todd.
A lot of kids in the pool last couple of days.
Yeah. In fact, Zoe said, "Pool was packed today, Dad."
Yeah. I went by there every night.
Anybody want to talk about city sirens tonight?
No.
Okay, we don't want to talk about it.
And same with residential pet limits, we talked about that. The more I think about that, if we did anything, we should probably go to a per pet licensing fee. That probably would.
There's already something that's in the book we don't follow.
Yeah, but if we followed it,
Yeah.
that might be the way to go.
Well, that's something to think about.
You need to go ahead with a major minor donation.
Oh yeah, there was supposed to be discussion again. Todd, did you talk to Rick Crawford? he said you talked to him. I think you had questions on how many games were gonna be played. Anyway, last month,
Yeah, I think he said they're gonna have 8 games down here.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion?
well, let's see what, because if you wanna give to the major minors or how
What
much.
did we give to them last time? What did we go on? give them?
$1,000.
I think it was $1,000.
I make the motion, we stay with that.
I'll second this.
The motion's been made to stay with the $1,000 and by Hemphill, seconded by Flink. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any further business?
I move we adjourn.
The motion is made to adjourn by Hemphill, seconded by Flink. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting